is a man's world. Hey. But it wouldn't be nothing without a woman. Hey. Started out riding, man with the geezers, with this shit, then one talk to pop about the chick. All of them times my bad ass still ain't listen, was living, but taught me the ways they.
It's Tuesday. Let's go. It's Tuesday. I am talking today about permission to play on people's top. Now, when I was like, what do I want to talk about? Because, of course, I get my daily news sent to me every day about the things I'm interested in. And I had it sent to me, and when I read over everything, this is the title that came to mind: Permission to Play on People's Top. Now, of course, ChatGPT wanted it to be more politically correct. So you can say the alternate title is Permission to Play at the Top. We're using this as a double entendre: playing on people's top and playing at the top. But if you don't know, I guess I should introduce myself. First and foremost, I am Danny Marie, your podcast bestie. I help businesses and creators use podcasting as a marketing tool so they can build trust with their audience and turn listeners into customers through clear content strategies, systems, and training. And by the way, if you are a business owner, if you are an advertiser, I help you get in front of the right audience so you can increase sales and brand awareness through podcast promotion, creative partnerships, and live activations. You guys, that was a mouthful. Plain and simple, I'm your podcast bestie, with whatever kind of connection, with whatever collaboration. I am the one that you should definitely reach out to, because I am definitely here at your service. But don't forget, this Saturday, we're doing 8 ways to monetize your podcast. You can register now, www.podcastpeeps.com/events. All right. But let's get back to the topic at hand, playing on people's top. I try to be here Monday through Friday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're talking all things podcasting, all things AI, all things pop culture here on your Daily Dose of Danny. So you have permission to play at the top, not later, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Podcasting is changing very quickly. Podcasting is no longer just a place people sit down, press record, and have a conversation. Podcasting is easily becoming a tool, a positioning tool. It helps you become known as an expert in your field. It helps you draw attention to your platform and your offers, helps you connect with the right people through interviews and features, helps you build trust with your audience, and create content that can be clipped, shared, repurposed, and monetized. So while some people are still treating podcasting like it's a hobby, I'm here to tell you and teach you that there are big companies out there treating podcasting as an infrastructure, and you are missing out. And that part matters. AI is making everything possible to streamline your process and to build an entire podcast ecosystem. Researching, scripting, editing, show notes, titles, clips, distribution. AI is getting it done faster, quicker, exponentially, right? And you're able to reach more people more than before, because word of mouth, although very poignant, it was not reaching people at the rate that technology can. So we're going to talk more about how I am telling you should give yourself permission to play on people's top. But let's get into some of this AI and podcasting news so you guys can be brought up to speed and so that it will all connect and make sense for you. But you heard me use this word already before. I'm going to share again. The word of the day is positioning. And we talked about this yesterday. Permission to speak boldly and more confidently about who you are and what you do. Today, positioning to, same thing, speaking boldly about who you are and what you do, but also adding AI to the mix, right? AI has evened the playing field. AI has put you on the same platform as big corporate. And let me tell you how. First and foremost, AI has made it so you can produce at the same rate as big corporate. You can produce even at greater quality or just as great quality as big corporate. And at the rate in which you disseminate information to your audience, AI has helped with that process. So you're now competing with big corporate. And I know that to be true because now you have influencers, top influencers who are now becoming the focal point, who are becoming the focus when it comes down to user-generated content and marketing. So you're able to now compete. AI has put things at a high level playing field, even when it comes to film and movie making. You can do it with technology with the use of your phone and AI. When it comes to music, you can produce at the same rate as big corporate now with AI. When it comes to podcasting, same thing. We're talking about it today. Positioning is how you present yourself so people understand what you do and why it matters. Platforming, positioning, podcasting, all to be understood and all to see that there's intersection between the three of them. But the vocab for today is positioning. I want you to think about that. And that's the reason why we didn't change the vocab from yesterday, because I really want people to not just take these words as things that you already knew the definition behind, but these as actual terminology that's being used in everyday conversations as we're talking about this industry, this landscape, where we are in society, in podcasting, with AI, with technology, in business, in finance. It all comes down to how do you position yourself and what you do, even competing against an oversaturated market and competing against corporate entities. How are you positioning yourself, setting yourself apart? That's the vocab. Again, do not forget, this week we're talking about 8 ways to monetize your podcast. Go to www.podcastpeeps.com/events for more information. All right. Enough of that. Let's get into some popular topics. I told you this is the purpose of me doing my everyday live, is to bring the information straight to you front and center, things that you probably could not get anywhere else. So we're trying to bring at least the most important news for you to note, starting with the industry is dealing with a surge of AI-generated shows. Did you know this? So yes, we hear AI music being a very popular conversation. We see where AI is basically taking over in other parts of the world. Did you know AI podcasts are now becoming a thing? What I think we tend to do is we're so hyper-focused on all of these other things, and we allow other people to feed us information, but we're not doing our own research and our own due diligence. And so that's how things like this are able to kind of creep in. Because before, you were supposed to notify and talk about when you're using AI generated content, or before the conversation was, AI is so woo-woo. I'm not interested. I don't see how this helps. AI is taking our jobs. And so we weren't staying up to date. We were not current with all of the things because we dismiss AI altogether. So now it's crept up into podcasting, and now you have a surge of AI podcasts. About 39% of new podcast feeds likely AI created. 39%, that's not a small number. 39% of the podcasts are now AI generated. I know on platforms like YouTube and other platforms, I believe Spotify and Apple, you had to toggle a button to talk about, hey, this is used and created using AI. Now, more and more of these podcasts are popping up. Where we thought that it was so taboo, you're starting to see more podcasts pop up. And it's not your everyday person that's popping up with an AI generated show. It is corporate. We're going to talk more about that in a moment. Discovery is getting harder as low effort, high volume content floods platforms. So the shift is clear. It's no longer about who can create content. It's about who can create content that stands out and holds people's attention. All right, so I told you corporate is now creating AI-generated podcasts. Let's talk about Amazon. Are we not even surprised here? Amazon, I'm pulling up the article and I tried to add their sources. So I cited my sources and that link should be in the live somewhere. Go back to the live to get the source. But Business Insider says Amazon has invented the world's least necessary podcast. Now look how slick Amazon is. Are we not surprised? Amazon has launched a new feature that uses AI to generate a short podcast-like audio segment where two hosts discuss the merits and reviews of a specific product. Want to guess which products these AI-generated audio hosts, want to guess which products they're reviewing? Amazon products. So this makes me think, like, I wonder how valuable the user, the regular everyday user, like I know Portia, Candy, I know they have their own Amazon Lives where they do a review of Amazon products. I know that if you are an Amazon affiliate and you have a storefront on Amazon, some of you are able to, under the Amazon umbrella, go live on Amazon and do your own breakdown of the products. I wonder how this will now impact with AI generated content and Amazon specifically creating a segment where two hosts are reviewing the products. I wonder how this impacts influencers. But not only, I talked about this months ago, last year actually, Amazon is starting to get in the real estate business and they're opening up the different Amazon podcast studios. Now, this is why they're now creating AI generated. Well, I won't say this is why, because obviously if you have a studio, it's likely that you're going to still have some people that are in person doing things. So I think that it's just a signal of them tapping into every part of the market and they understand the value of podcasting. And podcasting and audio is still king, contrary to popular belief, where you are now starting to see an influx of AI generated content, but you're also starting to see an influx of video or vodcast. But contrary to popular belief, audio is still very popular. So that makes sense why last year Amazon moved into the real estate space and started to open more podcast studios. But now you're starting to see an influx of corporate offices like Amazon. Walmart probably is going to be very close behind, doing their own podcasts and using AI. And this sounds like to me that they're using, if you aren't familiar, Notebook LM, or they're probably using Notebook LM or like HeyGen to create some type of avatar, audio personality, virtual personality. I don't know what other word to use besides avatar. They're using their avatar as their host, two podcast hosts, to do the review of the product. I wonder, again, video is also appealing to the eye, especially when you're giving a review of a product. So I just kind of I'm thinking about these things in real time. I wonder how things will kind of pan out. Are people really interested in this? Do people much rather want to hear a review of a product, or would they like to see with all of the visual elements that come with that? And then how does that impact AI? I guess that's why it's important to do it on both fronts. So you still have the user-generated content. You still have Amazon Live with influencers who are doing the review of the product. But then for the people who prefer audio only, you can also appeal to the audience that way. So another thing to think about is the conversation audio or video better. It's best if you did both. Meet your audience where they're at. So tell me what your thoughts are about more corporate offices doing this AI generated content. I was reading another article, Alex King, and she was talking about the same thing. She was basically saying, like, we've allowed the conversation about AI and music and streaming platforms to basically distract us. And now here we have it that corporate offices are now coming up with more AI podcasts. And it used to be a point where you have to disclose that you're using AI to create the content. But now we just let the floodgates open and anybody can do anything, and we're not really regulating or having any control. And now you have the consequences where, because big corporate is able to produce at a higher rate. So I think one show had 120 episodes a month. Now with AI, you're able to produce faster and at a greater quality, and you're able to fact check and provide the facts at a much quicker rate. You can produce more, right, at an accelerated speed, but also produce more with, the abundance of content. So 120 plus episodes a month, that's taking over when the conversation comes up about how do you get discovered and discoverability and SEO. Corporate is now taking over the podcasting game because we've allowed them to infiltrate. There was such a time where podcasting felt like the wild, wild west. It was just kind of open season. And now corporate is coming in, infiltrating another space, and they're going to be regulating. And now they've taken over and monopolizing podcasting, because now when it comes to search engines and what people are looking up, whatever they type in, the best product to do XYZ, who's going to come up? Amazon with their new AI generated podcast with the 2 AI hosts, the 2 avatar hosts doing a review of Amazon products, because they're now able to produce at that level. So you guys, we're not talking about it enough. It's definitely, again, to me, use it as not something to alarm you, but something as education, right? Something to level the playing field and something to be hopeful about. Okay, we kind of dropped the ball. We see corporate is now coming into podcasting and taking over, but you can also create your own media company, and you can also start to compete. You can create your own app with AI now. You can create your own avatars, your own AI avatars, your own personalities. You can create your own media company and have a whole catalog of different AI avatars who are going to be the different hosts to run the whole programming of your show. 24-hour programming using avatars, AI avatars. I mean, it's possible. That's how the playing field has been leveled out because of AI. But also, corporate has big budget, big dollars, and so they're able to produce the same thing you're able to produce, but maybe at a just more money and budget behind it. Just things to kind of pay attention to. Let me see. All right, so next thing, let me switch out here. Next topic. Sorry, you guys on Instagram are not seeing the different pictures and changes. They're not that big of a deal, but if you want to get the full experience, you can watch us on It Is I Dating Marie on YouTube. But this next image here comes from Isabella Gomez, who is the writer of this particular article about AI music is flooding streaming platforms, but listeners are liking it less and less. So music fans are becoming increasingly uncomfortable with AI songs, according to a recent report published by the music and entertainment insights company Luminate. The decline is especially notable with young listeners who are part of Gen Z and Gen Alpha. The study compared attitudes towards AI use in music creation from May to November of 2025. It found that overall interest dropped from 13% to about, negative 13 to about negative 20 during that time period. So from May to November of 2025. Across the board, what we found is that consumers are net negative, says Audrey Schumer, a media analyst and research editor at Luminate, who authored the report titled Generative AI in Entertainment of 2026, examining changes in industry strategies, legal challenges, and consumer attitudes. All that means is that people are more likely to feel uncomfortable than to feel comfortable with AI use. Let me tell you a quick funny story. I don't know how we got onto the topic of music, my mother and I, but my mother and I were talking about music. She came through the door after her long day at work, and we somehow got on the topic of music. And she was like, let me share with you this music artist Auntie Bunny introduced me to. And this song came on and instantly I knew right away. And it lasted for all of like 5 minutes. And it's just going on and on and on and on. I said, Mom, that's an AI music artist. She just thought this was the newest, hottest person in the game. And then she went to go call my aunt and tell her, Danny, tell me that this is an AI music artist. And I guess they were having their sidebar conversation like, that's why we could not find this artist. We were trying to look the person up. I guess they couldn't look her up because she doesn't exist. It's AI. Who else is getting hoodwinked and bamboozled out here and I'm confused about these AI artists? So to this article that says, Gen Z and Gen Alpha listeners are kind of turned off and they're uncomfortable about AI. That could be true. And I guess the only people out here that's getting bamboozled are the baby boomers. Bless their heart. They used to say that about us. The baby boomers are out here getting hoodwinked and bamboozled. And it's funny, but it's not funny because we know that it's not just bamboozled with AI music artists, but they're getting bamboozled when it comes to security and other data breaches and all kind of stuff. But I don't know. Are you guys like kind of getting caught up in this hoopla? Are you getting confused about AI? I'm noticing there's a lot of different reels where you have people in the comment section who are like, I would never do that. But they're really engaging in the comments of these AI videos as if it's real life. So are you all getting kind of caught up in the same things? Are you noticing what I'm noticing? And by the way, if you're watching live, comment the word live in the chat. If you're catching the replay, comment the word replay in the chat. I want to know, I have to know. I see, let's see. Another AI, that's funny. Another AI thing that I've been noticing just recently. I think Snoop Dogg at the Met Gala comes out and pulls out a blowtorch. They're like, no, that's AI, you guys. You guys stop getting bamboozled with AI. Shout out to Leonard in the comments. He says his podcast episodes are on Amazon.com. And there's a podcast organization that is completely AI. There's so many organizations that's completely AI. And my podcast is on Amazon as well. Not taking away from the facts that, you're now competing with Amazon on Amazon's platforms when it comes to monopolizing. They've literally have every industry almost gridlocked. They're in the health industry. They're in the real estate business. They have put a lot of your everyday, I mean, not every day, but your, back in the day, we had Macy's, we had all of these retail stores. They put a lot of them out of business. So now we're competing with Amazon in the podcasting space. So who do you think is going to get on the top of the algorithm on Amazon Music? I don't know. Probably their own AI avatars, especially when it comes to, this whole SEO topic. You won't be able to get discovered, whether it's on Amazon Music, Spotify, YouTube. If these corporations are taken over and somebody types something in the search engine, YouTube, Amazon, and all big corporate offices are going to be the ones to pop up first. So you're now competing with discoverability, access, the algorithm, all of those things. So that's what we're talking about. So yeah, all of our podcasts are on those platforms. What's it to us? It's a whole big of a deal. But also, again, not all hope is gone. There's still some opportunity there. AI does level the playing field and gives us some opportunity and some access to at least compete. So I'm not just like, oh, woe is me, negative Nancy. I'm just saying, be aware, be cautious, and know how this impacts you. But also, still compete, try to compete. What I love about this other article, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang has had enough of your AI hot takes. I'm sorry. I'm just a small fish in the pond. I'm sorry, Mr. Jensen, but I don't think he's talking about me. I'm just trying to provide education. Some people out here are trying to provide education, but do it in such a way that, that fear baiting, that gaslighting type of content, rage baiting, all of those things. That's not my motive. I'm just trying to provide education so you are aware and you can use this information to your benefit. But there are creators out there that are trying to, get the clickbait. They're trying to get you riled up. They're trying to get engagement. They're trying to ruffle your feathers. They're trying to mislead you and provide misinformation. They're trying to blur the lines. And so the CEO of NVIDIA says enough. While discussing AI adoption during the Memos to the President podcast on Thursday, Hung said industry leaders should be mindful of how they talk about the significance of the technology. I love how it's very clear he has a relationship with technology, and it's a healthy relationship, not a dysfunctional one. Talking to you guys, podcasters and creators, my question is, what's the responsibility you have to your platform? Is it worth it to you to be popular and to race bait and gaslight people for the sake of getting them on your platform or on your pages to click? And, is that important to you? Or is it important to you to provide honest, truthful information and be a person and platform of integrity? What is the responsibility of podcasters and creators? Mr. Hung said enough. At one point, he referred to Anthropic CEO Dario, his predictions that AI could replace 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs in the coming years. So is Dario just trying to put us all up on game? Or is he pushing his own narrative and he's using data, supporting data to justify his claims, to mislead people in the wrong direction? I don't know, allegedly. But Hung says stop. It could be that Hung is trying to, because he is pushing his own agenda, he probably doesn't want all this to get out about AI. He doesn't want us to all be in the know, because to know right, means we can hold people accountable. So who's right and who's wrong here? This is why I think platforms are necessary, and we should all have our own platforms to control our own narrative, to share our story, our perspective. Yes, we do have a responsibility, but I do also know that good, bad, and indifferent, it all helps us process information. It all helps us grasp and find our middle ground. So I'm for all of it, because all of it to me has a purpose and it has a place. I'm curious what you guys think. All right. So AI launched AI-generated product podcasts. AI-generated music and audio content is flooding platforms at scale. Tech leaders are publicly pushing back on extreme AI fear narratives. AI podcasts are increasing, raising concerns around authenticity and monetization. What does it all mean? AI is no longer emerging. It is saturating content ecosystems. It is saturating the market. Whether you like it, hate it, love it, want to play with it, the facts are the facts. AI is in this thing. The question is, where are you? How do you compete? Will you be using AI? Seems like you have to. If you want to be competitive in this space, it seems like you have to lean into AI. It seems like you need to have a healthy relationship with AI. To avoid it is to completely be woefully ignorant. But to embracing it and hating it, I think those are both two extremes. Everything to me should be done in moderation. You shouldn't use it as a crutch, and you should not use it as, this end all, be all knowing tool, right? It can't replace humanity. It can't replace humans. And I think there are extremists who kind of believe that. But then you also cannot just completely ignore and brush it under the carpet as if it doesn't exist. Both are very extreme and both are very dangerous. Everything should be done in moderation. Use it as a tool, something that you use for work, and after work, you put it down, right? And when you clock back in the next day, that's the only other time you think about it. Some of the podcasts that I follow, the Mel Robbins podcast, she consistently releases focused mindset and behavior podcasts. Gary Vee audio experiences, introducing to you high frequency drops, repurposed in live talks around the clock. The Emma Grede podcast, no major new spike in releases, but you guys cannot deny she did a killer marketing campaign. She was out there on all the podcasts. She was provocative. She got the people going. And I think she did what she was supposed to do. I want to see how it translates in book sales. I don't know those numbers, but I'd be curious to find out. I like 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. I love their steady cadence. They just kind of play in their pocket, right? That's with Carmelo Anthony. And he added a few other people to the squad. Top 1 podcast across Apple Podcasts and Spotify trends. Daily news and commentary shows continue to dominate. Solo host opinion podcasts are climbing faster than interview formats. So that's interesting. I guess it's interesting, but I can see how it makes sense. When a person's coming to listen to a podcast, it's usually an intimate setting. They're coming to you for what you have to offer. They're not necessarily coming to you because you have this person and that person on the platform. They're coming for you, your expertise, something about your voice, something about the way you relay information. So that makes sense to me why solo host opinion podcasts are climbing the charts faster. People want to hear your take on things and why you think the way you think, because they probably align with your beliefs and value systems. So they're not so much checking for Joe Schmo, or they would be going to Joe Schmo's platform to figure out what they care about on what particular topic. So that makes sense. And then fast turnaround episodes, reacting to current events, are outperforming polished productions. Love that. So how well can you, going back to the conversation of leveraging AI, blogs are probably very popular now because you can just research very quickly to get the information and scrape the internet of the information you need and quickly put out content about it. So people are more interested in how well you have your finger on the pulse and you can disseminate information quicker and faster. Like I know Lauren LaRosa basically came up during that time that Diddy was going through trial. She was one of those people that was producing at a high level, at a quick level, because she was there in the thick of it all. She was going to all of his hearings. Another person I can think of, even though, she does have a podcast. So her podcast is with the Gin and Juice podcast, Melissa Fredericks. But I'm Not a Lawyer But. So Mel, she is the voice of I'm Not a Lawyer But. And she was also covering the Diddy trial. I know Don Lemon was another one covering parts and going out there. Just the fact that you can go out quicker and produce quicker is what is drawing people's attention. It's not so much that you can produce and you have this really nice looking studio. It's like who has their fingers on the pulse and who can tell it to us very quickly, give us all of the highlights so that we can move on to the next topic of the day. All right. Upcoming events, podcast movement in 2026, VidCon and Creator Economy Live. Rooms matter, but content from the room matters more. We learned that a few weeks ago at the Black Effect Podcast Festival. Not only did we go to the festival, but we were also offsite getting content and building relationships in Atlanta. So I agree with this notion that content from the room matters just as much. Being in the room matter. The rooms matter, getting in the room, but I mean like the network and the building and the relationship matters more. And then being able to come back and relay that information. And we repurpose content like 6 different ways, right? After we got back from the Black Effect Podcast Festival. We did blogs, we did panels, we did lives, we did reels. So getting in the room matters, reproducing and flipping that thing over and over and over and over. Flip it and reverse it. Okay, in the words of Missy Elliott, flip that thing over and over again. Again, let's go back. Let's revisit the word of the day. If you don't know, positioning. Positioning meaning how you present yourself so people understand what you do and why it matters. I'm noticing there's another wedge. There's people who embrace AI. There's people who, no, I'm not even going to talk about AI right now. There's just 2 different classifications when it comes to the people who are online. There's people who produce and there's people who consume. Which one are you? A lot of you are still consuming content. You need to be producing the content. You need to be on the production side of things. Shout out to all of you watching. We're streaming live. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Substack, Instagram. I'm Danny Marie, your podcast bestie. And this is my everyday report between the hours of 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Actually, I'm sorry. Let me retract. 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is, I'm stamping that right now. 12:30, because it was like between 12 and 12:30-ish. 12:30 is our official start time. 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Monday through Friday, we are live talking all things podcasting, AI, and pop culture. Don't forget 8 ways to monetize your podcast. You can register right now. We're talking about how you can monetize, not just one way. And here's another podcast pro tip, you guys. Stop just doing the one thing and start thinking about how you can combine everything that you're great at. I think society has made us believe, especially the old way of working, that there's only one way. You can only be an expert at one thing. What we do know is we're not operating and using all parts of our brain. The left, right hemispheres, we're not using all of that. You're not using this whole cranium. So we are limiting ourselves even in how we think. Some of us are more analytical, some of us are more creative, but we're not doing both. We're not really operating in all parts. That is a disservice to ourselves and our gifts and the impact that we can have on one another, on community, on society. We are all meant to be multifaceted people. I think we have 75,000 plus thoughts a day. You have the bandwidth, you have the capacity. There's a lot more that you can do that you don't give yourself credit for. So going back to the various ways that you can monetize your podcast, believe it or not, there's 8 different ways. And I'm not even talking about monetizing from ad revenue. I'm not talking about what a big brand can do for you. I'm talking about, baby, you are the brand. Baby, you are the big. And 8 is such an important number to me. And I'll talk more about that on a different day. But 8 different ways that you can take one platform, one episode, and you can build an entire ecosystem around it, around yourself, around the things that you can do that you're great at. We know you need at least 7 different streams of revenue to survive in today's economy. I'm talking about 8 ways for you to monetize your podcast. There's your 7. And we threw in an extra. And this is not a complete exhaustive list. Like I said, I'm not even counting ad revenue. I'm talking about things that you can do. And with the help of AI, it makes it that much easier for you to do and set up shop and just let the money come. And again, it's great to be hyphenate. It's great to be multi-hyphenate and multifaceted, right? And not just rely on one, not having your eggs in one basket, but operating using all of your gifts and your attributes so that you can create those different passive streams of income. So Saturday, 7 a.m. PST, 10 a.m. EST, then you can have the rest of your day to do whatever it is that you do. But if you do pay for the VIP access, I'm answering all of your questions. We're going to bake in some co-working time so we can do these things together. So I'm giving you permission to pick my brain and put me to work on your behalf. We have a flexible payment arrangement. So you pay what you can afford to get the help that you need, and you walk away with one tool, one digital product that you can start selling and packaging to other people. Okay, so that's the VIP. General admission is just that 1 hour where we talk about the 8 different ways. And then you try to implement that stuff at your own will, your own merit, your own terms. But if you need help, if you want a co-working space, if you want to ask questions so you can walk away with something after the second segment in the VIP, I'm giving you VIP access. You can go purchase your tickets and register right now today at www.podcastpeeps.com/events. You're going to see this very beautiful, if I can say so myself, flyer. And that's where you know you're in the right space and you get the VIP so you can get the help that you need on Saturday. And Saturday, you can go out and enjoy the rest of your day because we're going to get it all done by 11:30 EST time. I'll be done by 8:30 because I'm on the West Coast. And then for the rest of the day, you know, you do all the family things that you're supposed to do. But you can also be making money while you're out with the family if you work with us to create your digital asset that you're going to sell starting Saturday. I think that's May 9th, Mother's Day weekend, right? So gift yourself something special by joining this class on Saturday, this session. 8 ways to monetize your podcast. All right. I don't think there's much more to say. So I just think this is a great point to recap. In case you missed it, comment the word live. If you watched a live, comment the word replay. If you're catching the replay. So AI slop, pod slop is becoming a real term in creator conversations. People are tired of the AI slop. I'm telling you right now, I'm coming with the AI slop. And what doesn't seem popular now will be even more popular a year from now. And then a year from today, you guys will just be catching up. But I'm going to be doing the AI slop. I'm definitely using AI. Should AI content be labeled or filtered? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments. Creators are calling out low effort viral content outperforming experienced voices. Some of y'all don't want to pivot. That's just all it is to it. AI replacing creative work is a dominant conversation across shows. Ongoing debate about human versus AI creativity in music and media. A broader cultural frustration with mass-produced content and loss of originality. Everything comes back around the sun. But right now, it's AI season. Open season, AI season. Get with the program or get lost. That's how I feel about it, honestly, truthfully. That's it, you guys. I just wanted to make sure I went over everything. Make sure we didn't forget anything. Again, I did share the resources. I cited my sources, so you have that to your disposal. If you are watching the live, it should be in the description of this episode. I'm Danny Marie, your podcast bestie. I'll catch you tomorrow, same time, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you register. If you have questions about registering or questions about anything I said or want to challenge anything that I said, like, it's okay. I could take a punch. Let's go at it. Let's talk about it. Let's have a dialogue. I wish you all a lovely day. I see somebody else joining. Go catch the replay. I gotta go. Oh yeah, if you're not a member, join our membership programs. We have things going around the clock, whether one day it's all of us meeting up at Social Audio and watching a day's worth of podcast episodes together, or whether it's us all doing a workout circuit together, or us all showing up on Zoom and cooking another recipe together. Or doing a book reading of a book-related or AI-related podcast. I'm sorry, or AI-related book, whatever. The membership is going to be growing strong. Make sure you're a part of the membership community. I did not share that link with you, but I will. Let me make sure I go do that before I leave. Oh, yeah, it's been up there. plan2podcast.com/memberships. plan2podcast.com/memberships. I'll see you guys later.
This is a man's world. Hey. But it wouldn't be nothing without a woman. Hey. Started out riding man with the geezers when this shit didn't want to talk about the chick. All of them talk my bad ass still ain't listen, was living, but taught me the ways they